Each woman has potential to access the El Rio Abajo Rio, the river beneath the river world. She arrives there through deep meditation, dance, writing, painting, prayer making, drumming, active imagination, or any activity which requires an intense altered consciousness. A woman arrives in this world between worlds through yearning and by seeking something she can only see out of the corner of her eye. She arrives there by deeply creative acts, through intentional solitude, and by practice of any of the arts. Hello, hello. I am Christy, host of this podcast today. I'm here with a special guest, Jennifer Verstreken. As a nurse practitioner, yoga and meditation teacher, and owner of Illume Evolve, I founded this company with a mission for creating spaces for inner transformation. And one of my passion lies in helping both men and women to feel empowered and live from a place of deservingness and fulfillment. And I want to put a shout out that please join me for this upcoming retreat in Joshua Tree. It's coming up in May. It will be a time of transformation, reconnection to your best self. So again, I'm here today with Jennifer Verstreken. Jen, thank you for being here.
My pleasure. It's so great to see you.
Oh my goodness, I know. And we're just having a conversation. Now we're just doing it in public.
Well, it's so great. We've had such amazing conversations over the years of our friendship. It's really special to be able
Oh,
to capture it and share it
oh
with your
my.
viewers.
Honestly, I know. I thought of anyone in the world has made such a huge impact and someone that I have tremendous respect for. And I just want to share a little bit of who you are to the audience. So Jennifer's going to talk to us today a little bit about her footprint and how she's had such a huge impact on the humanitarian work around the globe. She comes to us with a wealth of experience as a senior director of nursing at Bunker Hill Community College. She's a staff nurse at Brigham and Williams Hospital in the emergency room. If anyone who doesn't know where that is, Boston.
Mhm.
She's a volunteer nurse leader at Team Rubicon International, as well as a full-time doctoral student. So also Jennifer has achieved a master's in business administration, healthcare administration, and nursing. And I get to call this lady my friend. So thank you for
So
being here.
special. My pleasure. It sounds like I don't have a lot of free time, which on most days
Yeah,
is true.
I know. You're going to tell us how, how you do these amazing things. And I wanted to start with like the genesis. So tell us first, just, I know this story. Where did you grow up? And what did you want to be when you were a kid?
So I have to think about that. So I was very lucky to grow up in a quaint coastal town in Maine. If you've ever seen a Norman Rockwell painting, that's really the kind of existence I had as a child. So
It's
very
true.
special. One of those communities where, we didn't have sidewalks. We did have streetlights. You came home when our parents rang the bell.
Oh my
So,
God.
an old dinner bell, and you knew you had to scramble, and all of the kids had a different bell. So, really lovely community on the coast. So, I grew up boating, sailing, water skiing, swimming. Um, my parents are both master's prepared. My dad is a PA, so a physician associate. He's one of the first, way back in the early 70s, that started the movement of the physician extender role. And my
Amazing.
mom was a grade school counselor. So I've got the mental health background and the allopathic medicine background that really kind of brings me to where I am as a nurse. What I wanted to be when I was a kid is I wanted to be a dolphin trainer, which
I know. So love that. You have to get into the oh god, okay.
So,
What
but
yeah,
you being my friend can totally understand my love of the water and
yeah.
of these really intelligent creatures,
Oh
dolphins.
god. I
So as I grew up, I realized, as I kind of gravitated into healthcare, I realized there's no way I was going to get paid to be a dolphin trainer. That's before we started really introducing the idea of complementary and alternative therapies into allopathic medicine.
very
Um,
true.
so I found myself like as a pre-hospital responder as an EMT and just kind of followed my path into nursing. And
Yeah,
here I am now. So I have wonderful supportive parents that tolerate
amazing.
the crazy decisions I go on and my lifelong learning adventures of a near 50-year-old still in school. So
Love
um,
it.
truly,
Yeah,
truly special growing up for
you you
certain.
have a beautiful, yeah, story. And, where, would you like to tell the story of how you and I met?
Uh,
I'm gonna let you I can tell
so
too.
yeah, so we met on a whim. So the backstory is I had just gotten out of a very challenging relationship with someone with substance use disorder. And for
Mm,
anyone that has a loved one or a family member that struggles with substance dependence, you know what a toll it
yeah,
takes on life. And having the courage to terminate that relationship, it was really an opportunity for me to re-engage with myself. And I
mm,
wanted to do things and I wanted to do them solo. I wanted to rebuild the strength that had been broken down in that relationship. So I embarked on a couple of things. I hiked the Grand Canyon by myself. And another one of my independent ideas was I wanted to do some mission work and introduce how we met. So I signed up with a group I didn't know, raised a bunch of money, and bought a ticket to Cambodia and
yeah,
flew halfway around the world and was so blessed to meet a group of amazing humanitarians and nurses, one of whom is you. And
oh,
I spent what 2.5 weeks just truly serving and providing fundamental grassroots healthcare that in this fast-paced day and age we often overlook of
yeah,
water,
yeah,
brushing your teeth,
mhm,
wound care, just really um, fundamental things that we need. If we think of how Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have these foundational needs that are often overlooked, and you can't move on to the next level until those needs have been met. So um, we ended up as roommates, and I often talk about our pillow talk. That at the end of the day, after working in 110 degrees and really just feeling all of the feels with these people in Cambodia, we would just talk about the future of nursing and how we can leave our mark on these communities. And they are some
mm.
of the most cherished conversations that I've really ever had, personally and professionally.
No, I know. I actually just, wanting to kind of talk a little bit about, our connection with Jennifer and I didn't know each other. We were part of Project Helping Hands, which is now dissolved. But in March of 2019, Project Helping Hands deployed a team of nurses to Siem Reap, Cambodia, serving alongside Build Your Future, which we both know the one of the leaders in that. He's actually the volunteer coordinator, Odom Chiem. You can find him on the web. They're doing amazing work in Cambodia to deliver medical and educational aid to migrant villages. And BFT grew from social and educational and developmental work through a survivor of the Khmer Rouge. He spent 12 years in refugee camps on both sides of Cambodia and Thai border, and their vision is just to build a better future for Cambodia's youth and empowering its people with the intellectual and economic tools to attain self sufficiency, to break the cycle of poverty. And Jen, I mean, you just kind of touched on it. We're talking grassroots when you think about humanitarian aid and you come from the first world country, you drop into these spaces. I mean, you immediately bond with your team. And we both were just talking about kimono. I mean, our leader there, the impact we were able to have. It's hard to even explain what happened there, other than we all had the same heart, same mission. And I know Jen, you've gone on to do even more since that time, and I would love just to kind of segue into tell us a little bit about some of the workplaces that you've been with Team Rubicon.
So after Project Helping Hands, I actually deployed again with another group that was founded out of the Brigham. And so we were in Nicaragua doing very similar work, not quite as remote, but we were basically um, supporting the local infrastructure of healthcare. So this was during the pandemic. So there was a backlog of patients that weren't being seen for their fundamental care. So we basically came in and supported the structures that were there and really helped them to get that backlog eradicated, and then brought some teaching opportunities to the providers there. So that was kind of an interim step before I found Team Rubicon. And so Team Rubicon is it's an NGO, so we are domestic as well as international. And I volunteer with both arms of the organization. And we were founded out of the mission by a handful of military veterans who saw the Haiti earthquake back in the early 2000s and just felt this desire to serve.
Wow.
um, the humanitarians, much like military, active military and veterans, have this service heart and this desire to do something. And contrary to best practices nowadays, they self-deployed to the Dominican Republic and crossed what they called the Rubicon into Haiti in order to provide care for individuals who were impacted by the original Haiti earthquake. So that organization has now grown. We're over 100,000 volunteers in the domestic arm. In 2019, we were certified by the World Health Organization as
Mm,
the first EMT Type 1 mobile in North America, and we're
wow.
only the 18th in the world. So
Incredible.
we've got this certification that says we can deploy pretty rapidly with backpacks on our back and get to remote villages and really help out in the disaster and humanitarian space.
Amazing.
So, yeah, my first call was to Papua New Guinea, and that was again during the COVID pandemic. And something we learned in the humanitarian space, and particularly in Team Rubicon, we have this saying "Semper Gumby," and that obviously comes from military speak, and it's just
Mhm.
be flexible.
Yeah.
So we were deployed to the remote highlands of Papua New Guinea to help support teaching and best practices in infection control in this remote little community in the
Wow.
highlands called Enga Province. Turns out they needed a little bit more, so we provided some medical support. We staffed the ER. We did rounds in the OB ward. I delivered my first two babies ever.
Incredible.
Um,
Oh my God.
20 years into my career, and I delivered my first baby. Um, Amazing experience. We spent 4 weeks in Papua New Guinea. It was a team of myself and another emergency physician from Johns
Amazing.
Hopkins. So
Mm.
pretty empowering, 2 women
Oh, yeah.
with a male team lead, but we were an all-female provider, and
Oh,
that speaks volumes.
yeah, absolutely.
Believing Before Seeing, a new bestseller by Candace Barr. Order your copy today.
Um,
It does. Yeah. No, and I was gonna say, it in our team going to Cambodia was an all nurse run. I was functioning as a nurse practitioner there, but we really, in again, all I think out of all respect, I love just the power of women coming together, forceful to come in and be change makers in these communities, and that we are strong enough, to go in and to provide the support at our highest level of our skill. So anyway, I love your work. Anyone who wants to learn more about Team Rubicon, where would you want them to go
Yeah.
and try
So
and do?
you can find us, the organization domestically, teamrubiconusa.org. And if
Mhm.
you'd like to learn more about the international arm, teamrubiconusa.org/international. So we have the opportunity for a couple of different roles in the healthcare component of the team. So a nurse or nurse practitioner. We also will deploy with PAs,
Mhm.
paramedics, and then there are some people who maybe an EMT basic, or maybe they're a retired provider. They might fill the role of an MUL, which is the med unit leader. So someone that really knows the language, but has that leadership to be able to go and coordinate an evacuation with a helicopter to a higher level of care. So
Amazing.
there's almost an opportunity for everybody in the
Love that.
domestic team, in the international team.
So everyone's heard it. If you're interested in humanitarian work, there's so many opportunities. You don't have to be experienced, ever gone. And Jen, I'm going to segue right into we cannot leave this conversation without talking about Magdalena Bay and
Uh,
Jeffrey Sweeney. I just want you to maybe, Jennifer and I decided we were going to go on a trip. We both love the water. We both are divers, and we ended up in Magdalena Bay on a boat. Jennifer, will you please
So,
describe?
classic Christy, for those of you who are just getting to know her, you'll get a random text that says, "Hey, do you want to go to the Baja of Mexico and see whales and the bait balls?" And I was like, "I don't know what this is, but yes." So if Christy ever messages you, always say yes. So Gregory Sweeney, huge shout out, amazing photographer, an animal life photographer, worked with National Geographic, hosts these amazing trips for people to have these experiences that are really out of this world and photograph those experiences. So
Yes.
we're somewhere out in the Pacific Ocean, like in this practically uncovered boat, like screaming from one place to another, trying to see whales and just experience this amazing phenomenon called the bait balls. And we're freezing cold. We're in wetsuits up, including a hood, and just kind of huddled together, kind of scratching our heads, being like, "Are we really here? Are we really doing this?" And amazing,
I
more
have
people talk, more experience.
I have to say this, and Jennifer is like the best Girl Scout, or like everything packed down to, I mean, like precise. Like if you were going into war, you weren't going home for 3 months. I was like, I'm so glad she's here. So everything that we needed, and everything from extreme motion sickness. I mean, you were literally out in the middle of the water, just waiting for this whale to surface, or a bait ball. We are to surface. And I just remember you saying, and I think we said it together, like, Chrissy, we do hard things.
We do hard
It's
things.
like, why are we here? And so many people were like, God, I just don't imagine that being a vacation. I'm like, we're total adventurers. And this is not for the faint of heart. These trips were, you have to have some skill level and be comfortable enough to go out there to experience the awe and wonder of nature. Jeffrey Sweeney, I'm sorry, I'm saying Gregory
Gregory
Sweeney.
Sweeney.
I'm so sorry, Gregory Sweeney. You can find him online if you're looking to do a dive adventure. Gregory Sweeney hosts year-round events. Is there any? Okay, so one last thing, Jen. I'm going to wrap it up. Anything else you'd like to share? Just really quick, Jen, about yourself to finish us out.
I would encourage all your viewers and your listeners, like if you feel like you even have the faintest service heart, or you want to try hard things, don't hold back and just do it. We are all capable
I
of
love that.
something within, and we define what that hard thing is, and it doesn't have to be the next guy's hard thing. It's a completely unique experience, and that's what makes us who we are. So
Mm,
lead with your heart.
I love that. I love that. Um, and I would like to just read a quote here, to kind of tie some things together, and hopefully this resonates. This is a passion of mine, is to bring out really powerful text, quotes from books. But the Women Who Run with Wolves, there's an amazing book out there. I would highly recommend anyone to look at it. I'd like to quote from Women Who Runs with Wolves. Each woman has potential to access the El Rio Abajo Rio, the river beneath the river world. She arrives there through deep meditation, dance, writing, painting, prayer making, drumming, active imagination, or any activity which requires an intense altered consciousness. A woman arrives in this world between worlds through yearning and by seeking something she can only see out of the corner of her eye. She arrives there by deeply creative acts, through intentional solitude, and by practice of any of the arts. And I think about this, and I'm going to say that it really makes me think about we have to create spaces to test, kind of to come into ourselves, to kind of know who we are, creative spaces. And I say the alter consciousness is dropping into the subconscious, allowing these things to kind of start bubbling up. Whatever kind of awakens you, brings you into that space. So some of the things we've talked about, Jen, I absolutely love and admire you for the work that you're doing in your space, the impact you're having. I have so much respect for you. Thank you
You know,
for
that
being
goes
here
both
today.
ways. We're a mutual admiration society.
Yes, yes. And if you did like to join me in Joshua Tree in the high desert, I'd like to again just invite anyone. I'm going to be hosting a retreat May 17th through the 19th. There will also be an October retreat for both men and women. This is a chance to step away and disconnect, finding a deeper sense of joy and restoration. You don't want to miss this. You can follow me on social media for more information or illumeditate.com. Jen, again, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to lead us through a meditation. So while we're here, I would like to invite everyone just to find a comfortable position. If you're seated in a chair, beginning to connect, to feel your feet beneath the surface, feeling the ground beneath you, powering down your eyes, and just bringing your hands to rest on the knees, coming into the present moment, allowing your spine to be long and straight, and bringing your focus of awareness to your inner experience. And just noticing here what is happening in your thoughts, feelings, body sensations. Beginning to acknowledge whatever is arising. Now beginning to anchor your breath by taking a nice deep breath, inhaling into the nose, allowing the breath to travel down into the belly, and following the breath all the way out. As you breathe in, noticing the subtle rise of the chest and the belly. And on the exhale, noticing the release, the belly compressing into the lower spine. Noticing as you breathe in the sensation of the breath traveling through the course of the body, the vibrancy, the life force traveling through you. And on the exhale, releasing, letting go. With the inhale, softening into the space beneath you. And when you exhale this time, begin to allow the creases of the mouth to rise, finding a smile on your face. allowing the eyes to open, coming back into this present moment with an expanded level of awareness. Thank you for spending this time. Jen, it's such an
Thanks for
honor.
having me. This has been so special. I
No,
really appreciate it.
And Jen's like a lifesaver. There's so many things. During COVID, I went and stayed with her in Boston and did a strike. And this woman has been a lifeline for me. I have so much respect for you on all levels. So thank you for
Thank
being here
you.
today.
Oh, the sisterhood. Thank you
Yes,
for
yes.
having me.
And again, thank you for our guests for chiming in, for being here. And I really hope that this is meaningful conversation. My heart, my intent, again, is just to help normalize the path of the inner work. That we're all on this journey together. You're not alone. And the work that we individually have done, and you see some of these journeys, humanitarian work, just the enriching parts of life that are out there for all of us. So thank you for everyone. And Jen, I look forward to doing this again with you. Thank
Me as well. Thanks for the invite.
you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.